Picture this. You spend hours picking the perfect fabric, only to watch it turn black in just one season. On a narrowboat, your biggest DIY win can quickly become your most expensive regret. Most people treat boat windows like house windows, but that's a rookie mistake that leads to rotting fabric, trapped condensation, and a cabin that feels half its size. Today I'm showing you the aesthetic choice I made that I'm now regretting, and the critical rules of narrowboat curtains you cannot afford to ignore. By the way, I did all this research after I decided which curtains I wanted to fit. Not my best idea. As you can see, I have not yet finished my original DIY curtain, but as I say, now I've started, I will have to finish. Only 3 more to go. In narrowboat DIY, one of the most common curtain mistakes is the wrong material choice. Using 100% cotton or nylon is often a mistake, as they are easily damaged by UV rays and condensation as they absorb the moisture. This leads to blue mottle or black mould, with the potential to harm your health. It can also cause them to rot in just one season. The original owner fitted blinds to narrowboat Kate. This obviously avoids the condensation mould problems. The issue was, I don't like blinds, so I decided to fit some curtains. The only research I did was on the colour, as you can see, my favourite colour, and to make sure they were big enough to cover the window from top to bottom and to the sides overlapping a little bit. I did not consider anything else, hence my regret. Experts recommend polyester based fabrics or even repurposing shower curtains. Not sure about that one, and just by chance my curtains are 100% polyester, so I got lucky. So what materials should you use? Well, acrylic canvas, a brand name is Sunbrella, other ones are available, is the gold standard for narrowboat curtains. It is naturally UV, mildew and rot resistant. While it looks like traditional canvas, it's highly breathable, allowing moisture to escape rather than trapping it against the window. Other materials you could use: acrylic coated polyester, outdoor Teflon coated fabrics, and PVC coated polyester. Hanging curtains or recessed blinds too close to the window, like that, creates a moisture trap as it keeps the glass cooler, encouraging condensation. To avoid this, position the bracket slightly further away from the window to allow air to circulate. As I've done this already, as you can see. Okay, this is by accident, not by design. Narrowboat interiors are compact. As you may have seen on other videos, it's literally, I can touch both walls while standing in the middle of the boat. It's no more than 6 feet wide. That's at the middle there. At the top it's close to 5 foot. So you don't want bulky curtains like you do in a domestic setup. These can be too bulky and make it look really cramped inside your boat. The curtains I chose are a little bulky. The reason I did that was because I wanted blackout curtains that would not only stop the light coming in, but also to stop people looking in through the curtains. So if I just draw them back and show you. That's how they hang when I've drawn the curtains back. You can see it just comes out just a little bit, but I can deal with that. Ignoring the bottom rail, failing to secure the bottom of your curtain leaves them to hang out. If I just draw them closed, so that's them closed without securing the bottom, either with a rail which will sit across the bottom of the curtain there. It can be wood, it can be a wire. Failing to do that, as you can see, leaves quite a gap there. People can see in, light can get in, not ideal, which is why I sewed magnets into the bottom of my curtains and they just secure along the bottom there. I didn't use a rail or a rod of some sort because I prefer the look of it just nice and clean up against the side of the boat. And that is of course a personal choice. Safety hazards. Installing curtains too close to a stove or flue exhaust is a safety risk. The boat safety scheme is a license to prove all boats must have to prove that they are a safe place to live. The BSS requires that textiles near these areas show no signs of heat damage like scoring. And these are the original blinds that I've had in the boat, and as you can see there's no sign of it even though it's close to where the fire is, or the old fire was I should say. And I believe this fire that I've had installed is much safer. I chose to buy new ready-made curtains that already have the relevant safety requirements for domestic use. Do it yourself or pay someone? That's the question. You will need to decide this for yourself. If you have the skills to make curtains, fantastic, go ahead and do it. Or should you just get out the old tape measure, take the measurements yourself as to where you want the curtains to go, give that to a skilled curtain maker and let them do it. This was my original intent. I did contact two people who did alterations on things like curtains and other clothing. Unfortunately, neither got back to me. So I had this really bad idea to do it myself. I bought myself a sewing machine. If you look at the previous video I did, 45 years ago was the last time I used a sewing machine. I thought, how hard could it be? Well, for me, it was very hard. Hence, I've still got 3 more to go. Next time, I will get a professional to do it for me. Some DIY alternatives. If you're redoing your curtains, consider these things. Magnets in the bottom of the curtains like I've done, or you could put the washer in the bottom of the curtain, put the magnet on the wall. Obviously it'll still work both ways. Something which I've not tried but I've thought about is putting like a secondary glaze across the front of your window to act a bit like double glazing. Now this can be, as I understand it, I've not done massive research on it, can be like a plastic film, stiff plastic film, or even potentially glass that you can fit to the outside of your window, or the inside of the window I should say, sorry. That creates an air gap in there which insulates your boat, reduces condensation. Another thing you could do is to apply some privacy film. That's like a frosted film that you actually apply to the glass. A bit like you get in a bathroom, on your bathroom window. It's got like that frosted effect. Disadvantages, you can't see out obviously as well as you can with a clear window. It does stop people looking into your boat as well. One of the main advantages is it lets light in as well. Calculating the fabric you will need for your slanted windows. You must account for the inward lean of the walls. So this wall leans in that way. It's a good 4 inches of lean, so the curtains, as you can see, hang like that if you don't secure them to the side. So how much fabric should you actually need? Well, as you can see, that's where I decided to put the bar. Measured from there down to that little lip that I've got there, just along that bit there. That's where I wanted the curtains to stop. So I measured that length and then I added about 5 inches or so, so it's 2.5 inches each, top and bottom. That's to allow for the seam at the top and the seam at the bottom. To determine the width of your curtains that you will need, if I just open this window again, if you actually measure the width of your window, that inside gap just there, mine is 42 inches. When you decide how much curtain you need, you want between 1.25 and 1.5 that width that I've just measured, 42 centimeters, and that will be the width of your curtain so that you get that slight concertina effect on your windows. In a domestic setting, you're going to be anything between 2 and 2.5 that width that you would normally have in a domestic setting, which would be too bulky for your boat. Now you also want to factor in that you need it to overlap the edge of that window there. It's pointless having your curtain to hang there. So I'll just show you. If I had the curtain which lines up with the end there and just secured it, you can see there's quite a bit of a gap there, which will let in loads of light, and obviously people can see in from outside. So I went a good 2.5–3 inches past the end of that window and secured it there, and that nicely covers up that gap. You need to account for the slant of the window, as I've already mentioned there, and allowing for a fixing method at the bottom. I've got magnets, but if you have a rod that comes across there, you need to position it below that level there, so around about 5 or 6 centimeters further down that rod, even though the curtains are going to hang a bit lower. That's so that it can obviously hold in across there. Now I've just talked about fixing methods there. I've got magnets, I've talked about rods and wires. I've just thought of another one actually. It's press studs. Like you've got on the canopy on your boats, there's like press studs to hold the sides of your canopy in. So you could quite easily fix your press studs in there and have a stud on the wall, and you just clip it in. That's, I think, quite a good idea. Maybe I'll look at that next time. In the description below, I've added more details on the types of mold resistant materials into a document like that. So rather than go through all of that or make you stop it so you can read it, I've put it in the description below, so have a look at that if you are installing some new curtains. If you have a different way of installing curtains, I would love to hear from you. Please leave your answers in the comments below and I will reply to all of those. And in the next video I talk about why simple systems win in small off-grid spaces. See you there.